Mystery locations are found all over the planet. Recently, I looked at the underground base said to be found in Dulce on the Colorado-New Mexico border. Most know about Area 51, a location which was once believed to be only a conspiracy theory. The installation located in the Nevada desert couldn't remain secret for long once people began visiting the place and snapping photos. This forced the US military to admit that the base was indeed very real. While researching the topic, I found a place that is way more mysterious, and it too has ties to one of the most mysterious events in history. This city is known as Mezhgorye, and it's so secret the Russian government barely admits to its existence. Like Area 51, rumors abound to what is hidden there. Everything from aliens to ultra top secret government weaponry, and some say it could have something to do with the deaths of 9 hikers from the infamous Dyatlov Pass Incident. Are these rumors true? Could it be home to aliens and secret technologies? Let's take a look. Welcome to IF, videos on history and mystery. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss a video again. As technologies like mobile phones become ever more pervasive, it becomes increasingly difficult to keep things secret. Most people have access to the internet, and software like Google Maps allows them to have a satellite view of areas once off limits. This now makes it almost impossible for governments and militaries to claim a place as being non-existent, as they did with Area 51 for a few decades. In the past, it was enough to have armed soldiers standing guard, ready to use lethal force in order to prevent people from discovering a location they wanted kept out of the public record. This was the case for bases all over the world, and one in particular, the place that is said to be the Russian equivalent of Area 51. The consensus is that the construction of the site began at some point during the 1970s. In the beginning, it was thought to be a location used for storing Russian treasures, food, and a secret nuclear bunker for Russia's top military officials. Seeing a renewed effort in construction in the early part of the 1990s, the secret military base attracted more attention than the Russian military wanted. It was during this period of the base's secret history that it became known as the Russian answer to the infamous Groom Lake facility in the US. Unlike Area 51, this place was more than a secret military base. It was an entire top secret town. Mezhgorye can be found nestled deep in the Ural Mountains, around 400 square miles in size. The place has managed to stay off the radar for decades. The secret town is closely watched and controlled by the Russian federal government. This paranoia and secrecy due to the key part the town plays in Russian plans in the event of a nuclear conflict. The Russians, fearing a decapitating first strike from the US, decided to negate the effectiveness of that tactic by sending tens of thousands of workers to many remote sites in Russia and Russian territory. The plan didn't really work, as US spy satellites spotted the people working on the site. This was said to have stopped in the 1990s when Boris Yeltsin's pro-Western government took power after the collapse of the Soviet Union. However, recently, things have begun to heat up between the Russians and the US, and this has seen a renewed frenzy of activity at the secret town. Speculation is that this has something to do with new Russian plans, and Vladimir Putin's military chiefs are building improvements to the so-called dead hand weapon system, something that's also known as the perimeter. This dead hand or perimeter system is designed to automatically fire all of the country's nuclear missiles in one single deadly action. The dead hand is the Kremlin's weapon of last resort should nuclear World War III erupt, and this weapon system ensures the total destruction of Russia's enemies. It acts as a standing deterrent to anyone foolish enough to think that they could strike at the country without retribution. Christened a doomsday device by analysts, it was first developed during the paranoia of the Cold War, and the secret town would be the perfect location for such a system. US President Clinton and Bush both attempted to discuss the weapon system with then President Boris Yeltsin. Their inquiries fell on deaf ears, this location and its secrets being far too important for even presidents to discuss. Representative Kurt Weldon inquired about the site whilst on diplomatic visits to Russia. He said, I went to Moscow and spoke with the Deputy Interior Minister who was in charge of mining. I asked him if there was any mining activity there. He just shook his head and said he had never heard of it. So I mentioned the other name the Russians used for it, Mezhgorye. He said he hadn't heard of that either. Then he sent an aide out to check. 20 minutes later, the aide came back, visibly shaken. He said they couldn't say anything about it. It would seem the slightest mentions of this place are enough to spook anyone. Could this be because there is more going on there than a secret nuclear weapons system? Could it be the testing ground for secret weapons? Or, like Area 51, have links to aliens and maybe reclaimed extraterrestrial technology? An incident that occurred near the town may give some insight into the fear many feel when this place is spoken about. The infamous Dyatlov Pass Incident. January 28th, 1959. 10 students and graduates from the UST University set off on a planned hike through Russia's Ural Mountains. This trek would bring them close to the secret town. Everyone in the group was experienced mountaineer. The planned expedition would see them reaching their destination by February 12th. 9 of them never made it. The lone survivor being Yuri Yudin. He was fortunate in getting sick before the group got into the backcountry leg of their journey. He was forced by his sickness to stay behind. Luck was shining on the young man, as what happened to his friends was truly horrific. A search and rescue team was dispatched to find the group when they failed to arrive at their pre-planned rendezvous. The rescuers came upon a scene straight from a horror movie. The tent that the 9 had shared had been slashed open from the inside. Inspecting the tent, they discovered the team's rations, warm clothing, and other essential equipment left behind. Continuing to search, they then discovered 5 of the missing hikers at a distance of 1 mile from the tent. 2 of the hikers were discovered beside the remnants of a campfire. They had severely burned hands. The other 3 were found in intervals of about 100 feet. It looked like they had been attempting to return to their destroyed tent. Bizarrely, all 5 were found in various stages of undress. Some were barefoot, and others were dressed only in their socks. One of the men, Rustim Slobodin, had a small fracture in his skull. Oddly, it was concluded that he had died from exposure and not from the head injury. It took another 3 months to find the remaining 4 hikers. This is when the story becomes even stranger. The bodies were found to be wearing clothes which belonged to the students whose bodies were located next to the campfire, this indicating that they had scavenged from those bodies. It was said that all 4 had apparently fallen into a ravine and died. When the bodies were given a post-mortem, it was found that one of these hikers had received chest injuries, which the doctor compared to a person being in a severe car crash, and one of the female hikers was found to be missing her tongue. The hiker's clothing was highly radioactive, and other than their severe injuries, there were no obvious signs of struggle. The investigators also noted that oddly, there was no presence of any other living thing in the areas where the bodies were found. Semyon Zolotarov had grabbed his camera before he fled, choosing his camera over clothing. What was the man hoping to photograph? Yuri Krivonischenko had also taken his camera and managed to snap a blurry picture of a mysterious glowing object. So what could have killed the unfortunate hikers? There are a few theories. The first is that they were attacked by a person, or possibly an animal. One problem with this idea is that the search teams found only 9 sets of footprints in the snow, a set of tracks for each of the hikers. There were no animal or extra human tracks found. Over the years since the incident first became public knowledge, some 75 theories have been proposed to explain what happened to the group. These ideas cover the full gambit of explanations, everything from crazed escaped prisoners, yetis, and aliens. Even the idea that a missile may have been misfired, maybe from the nearby town, or that a low-flying jet sending out shockwaves frightened the group from the tent, and out into the freezing wilderness they went, only to meet their demise. Could the answer be the nearby secret town? Did they see something they shouldn't have? Did security forces step in and silence them? Were their deaths then made into an unsolvable mystery, this making sure that no one looked at the nearby secret town for answers? We may soon get an answer, as Alexander Kyryakov, Chief of Justice, announced that the Dyatlov Pass incident was to be reopened. He told reporters, relatives, the media and the public still ask prosecutors to determine the truth and not to hide their suspicions that something was hidden from them. The relaunched investigation will see a team return to the site to recreate the scene of the deaths. The current investigator, Lev Ivanov, quickly concluded all 9 deaths were caused by unknown elemental forces. When asked for private comment on the incident, the man said he thinks that they had been killed by aliens after the group spotted a UFO. Could that be what was in the blurry picture snapped by Yuri Krivonoschenko? Maybe. Many have concluded that the mystery will never be solved and that there was some sort of cover-up at the time. Could the deaths have more to do with the nearby mystery town and its secrets? What do you think happened to these unfortunate souls? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here on the channel, hit that subscribe button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.